because I have no clue why so many people want to hear me speak, because I do not have the gift of gab. I had a slight stutter even. But before we get started, I want you all to humor me for a minute, okay? And in a minute, I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath, okay? And once you get your lungs filled up as full as you can fill them up, I want you to hold it. And I'm going to say, hold it. Then I'm going to say, let it out, okay? And then you let it out, all right? So just humor me, everybody. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out. All right, good. This time, I'm going to say, take a deep breath and hold it. But when I say let it out, I want to hear a thunderous, "We the people!" I want it so loud that everybody behind us, everybody in all these ball fields are going to turn around and say, "What the heck's going on over there?" Okay? So let's give it a shot. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out. Outstanding. I usually have to do that 2 or 3 times to get it right, but that's outstanding. Keep that in your mindset for a moment, okay? Because if a number of you chose, "Oh, this is stupid, I ain't going to do that," the mission wouldn't have been accomplished, right? It would have sounded weak. You would have been weak. Your message would have been weak. But because you all focused on the objective, that single objective, you just now accomplished that mission, okay? So keep that on your mindset throughout this whole thing as I talk. I asked for 6 volunteers. Are you here? 6 volunteers. Can you come up forward for a minute? I'm going to paint a visual for you guys real quick. In the military, when you have any size element, whether it's a squad size element or a platoon size or a company size, when you're moving from point A to point B, sometimes you have to stop. And you have to stop to either defend yourself, you have to stop to do map checks, communications, or whatever. So what that looks like, you set up a perimeter. Okay, so point man, can you take a knee right there and face the audience? Go about a step forward a little bit. Right there, good. Now can you be on this side and look towards that way? This way, sir. Look that way. There you go. You right here, look that way. You right here, that way. Sir? Wait. You got my 6. There you go. Alright. You over here? And right here, and you're looking that way. Okay. I'm going to put down this mic just for a second, okay? Each one of these soldiers here has an objective and a mission right now within this perimeter. All of these soldiers together are defending themselves, are defending whatever the mission that they are on, that they're trying to get to at point B. To do that, the point man, his line of sight, take your arms out like this. His line of sight is directly like that. He's not going to pay attention back here or back here. Why? Because he knows this soldier also has this same line of sight. And this one overlaps this one. Y'all see that? Same with this soldier. This is her line of sight. His is like this. Straight out like this. Now look, there is nowhere within this 360 perimeter that does not have a focus. Right? Okay, so let's take it a little deeper. Just bear with me. This man is a gunner, just a regular gunner, okay? This soldier is an M16 gunner. He has an M60. This man has an anti-tank weapon. And we have an obstacle or the enemy that's coming from this way. And it's an armored unit, and it's coming this way, and it's going to destroy the mission. It's going to destroy what all these people are trying to defend. So because of communication, he does not have the asset to take care of that armored unit. Who does? The one back here, right? So they are going to coordinate, communicate, and maneuver, so he's going to communicate, so he's going to know to get up, and they're going to switch. The perimeter is still secure, and now the correct asset is placed in the correct position to take care of that problem, correct? Right. Thank you very much, you guys. Have a seat. Okay, for anybody that has friends with any liberal media, that's not Greg Cummings coming down here, Tea Party Patriots, to teach you guys war maneuvers so that we can go out and destroy something. That's not what I'm doing. I want you to take that scenario and everything that I just talked about, and now instead of individual soldiers, think about the individual Tea Party group or grassroots groups that are working to regain our nation. It's the same exact thing. We need to communicate, network, and work with each other, no matter what our issues are. Okay, this group over here might be only wanting to focus on the immigration issue, nothing else, just the immigration issue. So they fight with, and they can't stand this group over here that's fighting on just religious issues and pro-life issues. And they can't stand them for the same reason. What happens to the perimeter? What happens to the defense of what we are trying to accomplish overall? It breaks down, we become weak, right? Just like at the very beginning with the We the People, same thing. We all have one. Hello. Can you hear me? All right. Thank you. Okay, so we all have the same exact overall mission to try to accomplish. So it's important. What's your name, sir? If I can't stand, and every time I see him, I'm just grinding my teeth. And I know, and Stanton knows, that we're not going to invite each other over to each other's homes to have dinner, okay, or have our kids go to the park and play with each other. But we both are on the same mission that no matter what, if he has an asset that we need to accomplish our mission, I'm going to work and jump in his foxhole and defend him just like I know he will defend me. I'm not going to have to look over my shoulder and guess whether Stanton's going to be there or not for me, right? Right? And I've never met Stanton. I don't know if he likes me or not, but okay. But the point is the same. We cannot allow ourselves to get into those wedge-building issues that will keep us from fighting in the trenches with our neighboring patriots, with our neighboring groups, no matter what the issues are. Because somewhere, each and every one of us, and sometime, we are all going to have that tool that's out there, okay? And in a little bit, I'm going to talk about the border here, but there's a couple other things that I want to cover real quick. Every chance I get, and I bring this flag with me, I talk about this. There's a lineage, okay, and I'm going to talk about that lineage. Does anyone know, by show of hands, why the flag is folded into a triangle when our soldiers are buried? Okay, don't blur it out. Okay, for those of you who don't know, it is folded in a triangle to represent who? To represent the very first soldier who died for this nation back in the Revolutionary War. Okay, and they were citizens just like you, that put down their plows, put down their shovels and stuff, and picked up arms to defend this nation. Guess how many a percentage of the population of our country at that time that fought the world's greatest army in Great Britain? Of the United States population, what percent do you think fought the Revolutionary War?
Not 10?
Lower.
7?
3%. 3% of the population fought. You know what the other percentage did? The other 97? They were standing back saying, I'm not going to get into all that, you know. I'm going to work with whoever's in charge. I'm not going to worry about that. So they stood back while those 3% fought for our nation. Isn't that incredible?
Yep.
Now, just the Tea Party Patriots alone across this country is now the largest conservative organization in the world, not just the country. In 5 short years. And there's a reason for that. And it's because the Tea Party Patriots try as much as they can to operate as the republic we're supposed to be and not a democracy. And there's a difference, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go back to this. So now we know why why this is in a triangle. So when those soldiers come home tomorrow from Afghanistan, and they put them in the ground and they fold their flag up, and those in charge present this to their loved ones, at that very moment, that individual becomes a part of the lineage from the beginning of this country. We're forgetting about that. There is nothing more in this world that this lineage shouldn't represent of what you like and what you're championing, no matter what your issue is. I don't care if it's immigration, I don't care if it's pro-life, I don't care what it is. This lineage is protecting it because it's protecting the overall mission, our Constitution, our 3 sacred documents, our Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. They're put in the ground for that very reason. And that should be on your forefront the minute you want to get mad at this group because they want to support such and such candidate. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. If we put our government in the form of a shape, like a triangle, is this the way it should be represented?
No.
Right, say no.
No.
This is the way it should be represented. Because this way, it's a dictatorship. You got one leader up at the very top that controls we the people down here. Right? That's not what a republic is. A republic is we the people are up here, and from our own we select leaders to go into office to come down here to do what? The people's service. Right? Who's the authority of this government? We the people. We do not elect champions to go down here to tell us what to do. We elect champions to go to Washington, D.C. and follow the Constitution of the United States and be a representative of the voice of the people. So when a bill goes to the House, our champion better sit down. I don't care if it's 3 pages or 3,000 pages, which most of them are. My elected official better sit down and read that 3,000 pages and know what's in it before he votes. And not even before he votes. After he reads it, he better come back to me, the constituency, and say, look, this is the bill that's on the table, and this is what it says. What do you want me to do? So at the same time, he's informing you, the authority, what that bill's all about, so you can give him your input, so that he or she can go back and then make that vote in representation of you. Right? Okay, the difference between a republic and a democracy. A democracy champions the will of the majority. Right? So if the majority votes that all women should wear burqas, guess what? That's a democracy. A republic champions the rights of each individual. And that's what our nation's all about. And we've forgotten that. Is everybody tracking? They're with me so far?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The border. We hear on the media, or here, let's start this way. And I'm just going to shoot from the hip from the rest of it. How many here goes shopping with your family? Raise your hand. At any time you go shopping with your family or go to the park with your family. Just raise your hand, right? Okay?
Alright.
Your family as a whole goes somewhere, whether it's shopping or paying bills or just a day out at the park. When you come home, by a show of hands, how many of you husbands tell your wives and children to stay in the vehicle so that you can go to your house, open the door, unlock it, go through and clear your house, and then come back out and say, okay, it's safe, come on. Show of hands. How many here does that? It's happening for decades. Not just recently, for decades on the border. How many of you on a consistent basis find the dead body on your property and call the authorities to come pick it up and think that no big deal? It's been happening for a long time on our nation's border. A long time. Okay, I'm going to give you some history here. Mark Hager from North Carolina He's a state coordinator there. One day, he went to either the welfare office or the license bureau, and he noticed a lot of illegals there. And so he asked the person, are these illegals here for benefits? And they said, yes, they're here every single day. Well, that spawned for him to go back to his group and have that conversation. So they decided to go visit their local sheriff's office. Oh my God, Mark, you had no idea. They are everywhere. Not they as in Hispanics, just illegals in general. Okay? They are everywhere. So through that, he and a small group, maybe three or four of them, decided to make contact with the sheriff down in Arizona, Larry Deaver, and went down there in Arizona and talked with Larry and talked with some of the people down there and did a homemade documentary. Came back up, they were overwhelmed with what they learned. So then Mark gives me a call a year later and says, Greg, we want to go back down there, but we need some help from the Tea Party Patriots to help fund some of this. So can you see what you can do? Well, Tea Party Patriots offered him a grant, and he paid for that, and then I went down with Mark that time. This is the second amateur documentary, and this time we met with several ranchers and several sheriffs to find out more. And both of these you can find on YouTube, Invasion, Freedom Under Fire, 1 and 2. And you can see that. Well, on that second one, we focused primarily only on the drug trade. And so we took it from there. We went to New York City and tracked it all the way to New York City. We talked with some key FBI officials and just showed the in-depthness of the drug trade in the United States. You know, we keep seeing the picture of the United States here, and you think of the border, and that's just where our mind's at. We think Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and that's where it stops. Well, this is in all 50 states, and it's been in there for decades. It's nothing new. So through that, another year and a half goes by, and this time Tea Party Patriots says, Mark, I think we're going to fund, big time, a professional documentary to be done. And so that's what we did. Myself and Mark and a professional film crew, we traveled the entire border, over 2,200 miles. And we met with the local sheriffs. Why the local sheriffs? Anybody? Anybody understand? Okay, she says they're very powerful. Go ahead.
Law of the land. The most important law enforcement in the...
They are the most important law enforcement because they are the only law enforcement that doesn't have to answer to your mayor, that don't have to answer to your governor, they don't have to answer to the President of the United States. They only answer to one people, just like the rest of our elected official, and that's we the people, because they too are elected in office. The sheriff's office are only answerable and made accountable to the people. So we go down there, and Larry Deaver, during the second, I'm going back up again, sorry. During the second documentary, we were down there, and we were on this lookout mountain where you can see 100 miles into Mexico and 100 miles in the United States. And he was telling us about all the statistics and the traffic, and you could see just the open borders and stuff. And on the way down from the mountain, we were asking him questions. Well, didn't you testify before Congress? Yes. And didn't you have pressers on a national level? Yes. And they all said yes. He slams the truck in the park, and he turns sideways and looks at me dead in the eye, and he says, Greg, the Tea Party is our last hope. You see, what you don't know is that the sheriffs on the border formed a coalition called the Southwestern Border Sheriffs Association, exactly the same reason why we had formed our Tea Party groups, because the government not paying attention. The government is ignoring them. So now they're looking at each other for support and assets back and forth because they're being ignored by our government. Okay, so he looks at it and says, you guys are our last hope. We testified before Congress. And they look, oh yeah, that's bad. Yeah, and nothing was done. They had pressers on CNN, on Fox, on you name it. And they all, oh man, this is horrible. We need to have you back. And totally ignored it and didn't report it. So we are his last hope. So through that motivation, Mark and I were happy that Tea Party patriots wanted to do this documentary. Sheriff Larry Deaver died a month and a half after that second documentary, and mysteriously. So it was under investigation. There was nothing found, but it was odd. That's the same mountains that he drove down 100 times before. He rolled the truck and was found dead. But the truck went nose to rear, nose to rear, nose to rear at a high rate of speed, not turning the corner and going side like you would think it would happen. Other than that, they don't know what the heck's going on. Everybody else down there has their suspicions, and by the time I get done talking to you today, I think you'll go the same way. Okay, so during this, we started off at the tip of Texas. I'm sorry, my poster went away. But down here, at the very tip of Texas, and we decided to first talk with the local Tea Party groups there. So we were in a restaurant, and we're sitting there talking, and anytime I would say illegal alien or drug cartel, they would talk to me back like this. In a public restaurant, in America. And I said, why are you being so quiet? Oh, you just don't understand. The people are so worried, scared, and intimidated by the drug cartel that owns the entire southern border on the Mexican side and controls the American side of the border. Yes, I just said that. They control the American side of the border. Our Border Patrol has Border Patrol stations 60 to 100 miles inland.
Yeah.
And our current administration's solution to the problem is to put up signs on American soil that says, be careful traveling through this area for drug and personnel trafficking that is frequent in these areas. Larry Deaver, Sheriff Larry Deaver had us on the mountain. He says, Greg, you see that Border Patrol truck over there? And I said, yeah. And he says, it's about 3:30 right now. About 6:30, you'll see that come down and them leave. And I said, what? And he says, yeah. And we know at 7:30, almost on a nightly basis, that mountain right over there, you can see traffic coming across. They're allowed to come across. You'll never hear that in the media. And so we stayed there until then, just so that I could see what Sheriff Larry Deaver was telling me was the truth. And sure enough, 6:30 rolls around, the truck folds up and leaves. It was incredible. Our border is over 2,200 miles long. There are only fence that is built about 200 miles of that. And it's not a consistent 200 miles. There's border fences that are barbed wire fence in some areas. And you'll see Mark Hager say in the documentary that wouldn't even keep a cow out. And it's true. And you'll see another sheriff that is in charge of the 8th largest county in Texas, that's right on the border, that he has 6 deputies that cover 2,300 square miles. Border Patrol's not doing it, and that's wide open, 2,300 miles with no fence, none whatsoever. Most of the border, there's no fence. You'll see a Democratic elected sheriff show you a fence that looks pretty, nice and black, that goes for 2.4 miles. So the public can see it. Oh wow, this is nice. But he'll tell you, the drug cartel and the people coming across it just go around it. That fence comes right into a barbed wire fence. And you'll see it on the documentary. It is incredible. The intimidation. We have ranchers that have tapes given to them by the drug cartel saying, you give us the combination to your gates through your land so they can get to Highway 10, which is a main highway running across the southern part of the United States that ties into I-35 that goes straight up, and then there's another one that goes straight to Colorado. I think it's 25 maybe or something like that. But he says, that you give us the combinations to your gate because we know your wife, whatever her name is, and your kids and their names go to school and work. This happens all up and down, and it's spreading. It's coming further and further north. You'll see all of this on this document.